Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of the Virtual House Sessions, our podcast where we talk about just kind of anything we want to, a lot of this, a lot of that. It's going to be a, for now, monthly podcast, and some of the things that we talk about will be stuff that's happening behind the scenes. We'll answer community questions and comments, and more. Even more than that.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
So as you can see, we have myself, Sebastian, and Maggie, our two co-hosts for the Year of the Movie podcast, and with us on this journey and show,
It's both of those things.
we have Bryce Carson. Say hello, Bryce.
Back in the saddle.
He, as always, is operating our switcher. And a new guest for this era of VC recordings is Sean Paul Russell. Say hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean. I say as yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
So, for our video viewers, you can probably already tell that our cameras are all very laggy.
Everything's chug-a-luggin'.
We are working on a decade-old gaming laptop, so we are putting it through the test right now.
It's breathing hard.
It is a jet plane over there. We have 3 cameras for recording. We have 1 camera so Sean can see us, and we are recording an entire screen so that we can get Sean's footage. So we're putting it through a lot right now. So the audio, as far as we know, is all good. So if you're an audio listener, this does not
This
affect
one's for you.
So today's episode is, like I said, our first episode, and our first episode is free for everyone. So that means it's going on all of our platforms. In the future, it's going to be a Patreon exclusive, and there's some reasons for that. What is special about Patreon? Well, you get exclusive content like this. You get all of our content a day early before it goes up anywhere else. Eventually, we're going to do more things. And
Other exclusive content.
Maybe some merchandise that's Patreon exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have Patreon exclusive content, Maggie?
Why not? Well, there's a couple reasons why not.
Great answer.
Yeah.
I'll fill in.
Okay, I feel like you were looking for something specific there.
I was just kind of throwing you on the spot and
Yeah.
seeing what you could do.
That.
We have Patreon exclusive content because it, kind of entices more people to subscribe to our Patreon, become our patrons. Our Patreon has, as of right now, just 1 tier, and it's a $5 a month tier. That's really not that bad, in my humble opinion. And we have that because we want to live and make our productions better. Like we said, we're running off of a decade-old laptop, and we want to upgrade our equipment. We don't want our things to be laggy. We want to be able to do more, and there's only so much that we can do with this laptop.
If you have complaints about the quality of our productions, then there is a great low-cost way for you to help us fix that. And it is Patreon.
It is indeed Patreon. So now that we are done pitching all of that nonsense, we'll stop talking about trying to get you to pay us money. Let's talk about
For now.
who we are individually. Obviously, I introduced everyone already, but, we all do kind of different things for this company. I founded it.
Brag.
That's my
Where'd you
job.
find it?
Where did I find it, Bryce?
Yeah.
Up your...
That's what was up there.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear where it was found. It cut out on me.
No, it cut out for everyone. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
I was about to swear, and then I remembered that I'm trying not to swear.
Swearing is Patreon exclusive.
And this is a free episode,
Yeah.
so...
Just
Yeah.
wait.
So, I don't know. I direct a lot of our scripted content.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the production stuff for our unscripted content. I set up all of this stuff. I'll go ahead and say I produce this show.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I produce a lot of what we do as well. It's
Yeah.
just, and then I edit. I don't know. I write basically everything
Mm-hmm.
that happens here. It goes through me. Maggie, what would you say you do for Virtual Cocktail as a whole?
Primarily producing, and occasionally writing, although it's been a minute, and then that's one of those things that when you stop, it's hard to get back into.
It is.
So trying to do that a little bit more. Yeah, mostly producing.
Yeah.
I would say.
Mm-hmm. Bryce, yourself, what do you do? What do you do here?
What do I do? Not a lot yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, you're getting there.
So I run the Switcher,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also going to be hosting the TTRPG series that we've been kind of hinting at in the Year of the Movie podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll talk about it more later in this
yeah,
episode.
Yeah. So I've got that. I have some ideas for some short films. I act. I
You're our actor.
do mostly everything that isn't important.
You're our Robert De Niro.
I am the definition of the rest. Anything that isn't very important, all the loose ends, I'll just grab them and bring up the rear.
Sean, this is
Yes.
your time to talk about what you do, and I want to highlight
My
that
time to shine.
you are in a different city. You don't live where we live.
Yeah.
I am. Right. I'm Virtual Cocktail's longtime uncle. I don't know. I'm around. I sometimes act. I'm not even around. But you can kind of sense my presence here and there. And,
Like a good uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a good uncle. Not too close,
A
but he
gunkle.
comes in when you need him. A gunkle?
Yeah.
I'm Virtual Cocktail's gunkle, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll show up at the graduation.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there when needed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you write
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, I write. I count.
and you
and I act.
participate in our videos and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
you're doing some other things which we will get to here in a little bit.
Oh, we're gonna talk about my other things.
We're gonna talk about everyone's other things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of who we are. I think this will be the typical crew for this specific show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are kind of the four mainstays of VC
Yeah.
in general. So yeah, just wanted a place where like our viewers and audience could just see us, and this is kind of just like us talking and hanging out, and then you get to know us, and then if you leave comments and questions, we'll get to know you. Maybe we'll talk about them on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into what the show is, but also how the company works.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that we've really like deeply talked about. So this episode, because it's free, will go up on Virtual Cocktail Recordings YouTube, as well as our Patreon, and it'll also go on the Spotify's and Apple podcast things.
Yeah.
But we have the other channel, Virtual Cocktail, which has our scripted content. So VC Recordings is basically a subsidiary / sister channel to Virtual Cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all owned by a different company. And this is very silly because obviously we created this ourselves. We just opened an LLC, and like it's not like
We rebranded when we moved is
Yeah.
the shortened
we
version.
rebranded. So like our big parent company that we own
Mhm.
is called Third Rule Media, and Third Rule Media is just the umbrella for everything that we do.
Mhm.
And so if you hear us say Third Rule Media or TRM, that is still us. It's just us. And then that's also like the brand that we use when we will do commercials.
Yeah.
Because I think a commercial, an ad agency, or really anyone, if they see something called Virtual Cocktail, they're going to be like, that's...
We want to keep primarily doing comedy, scripted content,
Yeah.
other things that is like fun to do, but if we want to also branch out into the commercial space, which is the thing that we want to do, then it's hard to take that like resume seriously. So that's why we did the rebrand thing of like Third World Media is the parent company. Do we want to say why it's called Third World Media?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So we, all four of us, have either gone or are going to Indiana University. And the media/film program at Indiana University is
It's in its early stages.
It's in its early stages. I think it's like year 8 now.
Well, the film school or the film program has existed for a bit longer, I think, through like telecommunications
yeah,
technically.
But, like, the official media school is like year 8.
Something like that, yeah.
Bryce, Maggie, and I all went through the media school. Sean, you are not a media student.
That's correct. I went around the media school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physically?
Physically
yes,
around.
physically, emotionally, spiritually, I just went right around it.
Sean is a mathematical physics student / teacher.
But in those classes.
In the media classes that are film centric, every single one of them would talk about the rule of thirds. And for those of you who don't know what the rule of thirds is, it is a way to divide the camera screen. So if you take our screen and you separate it into third chunks up and down and third chunks left and right, you get 9 squares. That's the rule of thirds. And the rule of thirds, thank you, Sean. I don't know if you are...
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he's
Okay.
good. Okay. For our video viewers, Sean is making a grid with his arms. Our audio viewers, sorry. Video.
That was the grid.
You obviously see it.
Hopefully.
And basically that's the rule of thirds, and it's basically saying that like you should put people or your subject on the lines that go.
It's a general rule.
It's a general rule. You don't have to follow it.
Yeah.
Obviously people don't. Wes Anderson is the biggest name that like, because all of his stuff is centered.
Yeah.
So every class, even the advanced ones, would teach the rule of thirds.
Yeah.
And it was just,
It was very silly.
It's very silly. Because like if you are in an advanced directing class, you should know the rule of thirds. If you're having to go over that, you shouldn't be in the class.
Then why are there prerequisites?
Exactly. And so because of that, we wanted a name for the company that like was a media sounding name that like sounded like official, but also had a personal connection to us. And so Third Rule Media is what that is. So that's why we called it that. And then we obviously wanted to keep, like you said, doing comedy and narrative and scripted content. And so we wanted to still do that on Virtual Cocktail because while it may be small, we still love the audience that we have established already. And so we didn't want to like start a whole new channel where we started posting things, and it was just like it made sense.
It's hard to build an audience, and like we have 100-something subscribers right now on Virtual Cocktail, and that's like in the YouTube terms small, but not insignificant to us. So we didn't want
so much to us.
Yeah. And then like the Armor got like a decent amount of views. I think it's in
one of our short films.
Yeah, I think it's in the 800s right now.
It's
or
almost
something
to
like
900.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like those are to us good numbers.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that that's able to like stay in that same space basically.
And if you are a longtime viewer of Virtual Cocktail, you will remember that we have done unscripted content in the past.
Yeah.
But the reason that we started Virtual Cocktail recordings is because we want to keep doing both kinds of content. We just love making content. Like we're just people who love making things.
Not in like an influencer way.
No, God, no. No. Like I never want to be called a content creator, right? Like I love making stories.
Yeah.
And then this kind of stuff sort of revolves around that and it can evolve into more. Like the TTRPG, which we'll talk about here in a bit, that's very story based.
Yeah.
Our movie podcast is talking about stories. Like this is more audience based, just so like you can like know what's happening.
Yeah. If you're giving us money, here's what you're paying for.
Yeah. But we didn't want, like, if you, an audience member, just like scripted content or you just like unscripted content, we didn't want you to have to go onto one channel and weed out which content you don't want. And And so that's why Virtual Cocktail is just scripted and Virtual Cocktail Recordings is just unscripted. So like if you are a fan of one or the other, you can just go to that channel. Hopefully you like everything we do and you look at both of our channels, but if not, that's fine. So like, we have the 2 different channels. And that's pretty much the company's structure and how we are separating things. And this show is a way for you to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff that we will talk about is production upcoming things, like upcoming episodes for our different shows. We'll talk about like past episodes, how we feel about past episodes. If we have a short film or a film that we're working on, we will update you on that, and you will get access to those updates that no one else will. And so like you can like know, like we keep saying, where your money is going.
Yeah.
We don't want people to pay and be like, why am I paying for this? I'm not seeing any benefits from this.
Yeah, it's also like we do the unscripted stuff, or we want to do the unscripted stuff because like one, practically it's just easier to make. Like
it is,
and it's a thing that we can keep doing and like get some fulfillment out of, but also the scripted stuff is on a much longer timeline, so having something like this to update on where we are on that timeline is hopefully helpful for people who watch the thing later.
Yeah. So that's the structure. I wanted to talk about the Year of the Movie podcast.
The podcast where we talk about the year of movie 2023?
That's the one. That's the very one.
Huh.
I know. Obviously, Bryce, you have been there for a lot of our episodes. Sean, I talked to you about the episodes we make, but you haven't been there.
I've watched your episodes.
You've watched the episodes.
It's like I was there, just like sitting in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just wanted, like, one, if you haven't watched the show, it is a podcast where we talk about movies from what we are calling the Year of the Movie, and that refers to 2023.
And I feel like we picked a good one.
Yeah. We went to the movies today, and we saw so many trailers that were just wild.
We have multiple spreadsheets, really.
Yeah,
about
it's a goofy year.
Yeah.
For movies.
And we're taking it a little too seriously.
Yeah. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please check that out. But I wanted to talk about the technical difficulties that we have gone through on that show, which we are currently going through on this show.
Yeah.
Going back to, we're on an old computer. We're using just gaming webcams, basically. Our audio is tight. I made sure the audio was tight.
Yeah.
But we want the video element to be tight as well. So like there is equipment that we're saving up for.
Like a mic to record the laptop breathing.
Yeah.
Just have like a white noise under.
You want to love on the laptop?
Absolutely. I think the laptop is an integral part of the team.
My favorite character is the laptop.
She deserves a voice.
Yeah.
A big equipment thing that we want to get is a Blackmagic ATEM Mini, and maybe some of you know that. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a live production switcher that records directly from it. So we won't be recording from the laptop. And so it has HDMI inputs that you can, basically any camera that has an HDMI access to it, you can hook up to it. And then you can also hook up a computer so that it can record whatever is happening on the computer. So for moments like this where we have Sean calling in remotely, it would still work like that, but it records directly from the device. So and that's literally all it does. So there would not be any lag like we're experiencing right now. Now, Sean's in a bit of a tricky boat because his internet isn't the best, and so he would probably still appear laggy, but that's like Sean specific.
A tricky boat.
Yeah, it's a tricky boat.
That's my problem, not your problem.
Yeah, let him deal with it.
I'm not judging. I just like that phrase.
I can make phrases. Phrases had to start somewhere, and I know we said we're not influencers. but if I can start a phrase,
Sounds like influencer talk.
I would die happy. And so like that's something we want. We want to upgrade our cameras. We would like to have nicer cameras than our webcams. Now,
which aren't bad.
No, I love our webcams. Like they're HD, and like that's really all we need for this type of thing. But you know, if we are able to get to a point where we can have like nice cameras, I think that would be great. You know,
Yeah.
so like that's the type of stuff that like we will save up for, and your Patreon would help.
Yeah, I feel like if we say like we're a company and this company is a subsidiary of another company, that implies a lot more capital than what we actually have.
Yes. But if we
Both
start,
are true.
if we start manifesting,
Ooh.
and other like year of the movie specific technical difficulties, we touched on it and we'll always touch on it in the episode that it counts. You good, Bryce?
I'm just stretching my hand.
You're stretching your
okay.
hand. Okay, I thought you were like, excuse me one
You
second.
have 5 minutes.
I was like, we're not on a time. So one episode where we talked about Knock at the Cabin, we originally tried to record that in Tennessee because Maggie and I were on vacation, and we thought it would be cool to film that episode in the woods at a lake because the movie is in the woods at a lake.
Yeah.
And so we thought that would be cool.
It
But
would have been cool.
we didn't want to lug this giant decade-old laptop, and so we tried just using Maggie's MacBook.
And it was not happy.
It was not happy. It was doing a really fun thing where it would
Not work.
It would not work. Yeah, like the recording would stop minutes before we hit stop recording.
Yeah.
And so we like just kept recording while we were there a bunch of different continuations.
Like we would talk for half an hour and then you'd go to the recording and it would be like 15 minutes or something like that.
And so we just basically Russian nested dolled little recordings until we got everything, and we just decided that
wasn't worth it.
That wasn't worth it, and so we redid that episode. We redid that episode here. We had Bryce switching.
It went better.
Yeah.
We're re-recording another episode later tonight.
Yeah, which is we truly have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
Because we always do a test recording beforehand to make sure the equipment is running. And then afterwards, after we did the full actual episode recording, we discovered none of the audio was there.
Yeah.
Truly, we have no idea what happened. We haven't had that problem since. So we have to redo that episode.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, it's just...
Yeah. And then 65, I would say, our first episode we had.
Yeah, 65 was our first episode of Year of the Movie podcast, because I think 65 was really the first movie trailer that we saw. We were like, oh, this is going to be a year for movies.
Yeah.
We recorded that, and it was our first one. We were figuring stuff out. We just recorded from a Mac Mini, and that didn't super go great. It recorded the audio, but from the webcam. And so, like, if you have watched or listened to that episode and the audio isn't great, that's why. It's webcam audio, and then the camera was a not great camera, because we also discovered that when you have webcams on Mac, you can't change the settings. It just does everything automatic.
Yeah.
With Windows, which is what we're using now, you can just change basically everything, which is so nice. Yeah, so that's some of the technical difficulties.
We've said, like, kind of joking, but at some point maybe re-recording 65 as like a milestone episode. But we just released that one because it's like it's the first one. We had recorded a couple others by then, and I don't think we timeline wise it didn't make sense for us to re-record it. Yeah,
and that's another thing to touch on. For our unscripted content, I mean, for scripted content too, that would be funny if it was live. But we film episodes weeks before they go up.
Yeah.
And that was so that we can have a buffer in case something goes wrong, like it has. And now that there is a buffer, we have weeks to fix it, and it's super helpful. So like, if you watch an episode and you drop a comment of like something that you want to see discussed or whatever, and it's weeks before that happens,
that's why.
It's not because we're not listening, it's just because there is a delay.
Yeah. I feel like if you have seen our stuff from a while ago, and you saw some of that earlier unscripted content that we did, one of the reasons why we stopped is because we did not have a buffer when we were originally making those, and that was a mistake.
So challenging. It built up, and it was too much.
There was a lot of burnout from doing too much too fast. Basically. So, if you want any of those things to come back, let us know.
Yeah. So this episode we filmed sort of beginning of September. It's going to go up end of September.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the content that has come out this month, by the time this is out, will have been basically just Year of the Movie podcast, because that's the only unscripted content we're making at the moment. But the episodes will have been about We Have a Ghost, Somebody I Used to Know, Knock at the Cabin, and Renfield.
Yeah. And we've recorded all of those already.
We've already recorded those.
Yeah.
So like that is something like just showing you what we were talking about of like that's 4 episodes that are coming out, that have already come out by the time you are watching this, but haven't come out yet by the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of talking, but I'm producing it, so it makes sense. The next thing I wanted to talk about is a pretty big thing for all of us, is our short film, which we have talked about on our other podcast. Hello, my name is Friendman.
Yeah.
If you're a video viewer, you might be able to see a picture in between Maggie and myself. It is a little framed picture of Friendman from our set. I just wanted to go around and kind of like discuss like what we all did on that shoot. I mean, it sort of just plays into what we talked about, what we do for the company. But like, I co-wrote and co-directed that.
Do you want to say what it's about?
Oh yeah, we can say what it's about.
Okay.
Good idea, Maggie.
Thank you.
Say what it's about.
Friendman is about a student documentary crew who I had the logline memorized at one point because I was typing it so much, but a student documentary crew follow the story of their local hero wielding the power of friendship.
Yeah. It's a really positive story. I mean,
wholesome.
Yeah. So my grandpa was asking Maggie and I like what our mission statement is basically for movies, and the thing that I came up with on the fly to try to impress my grandfather was we want to make positivity with a punch.
He liked it.
And he liked it. Basically, like we want to make things that have a positive message, that but also are impactful, have a deeper meaning. They're funny. Like it's just like something that's there. It's
if you really liked Ted Lasso, that's the vibe that we keep kind of going for.
Yeah, that's what we're striving for.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we are making Ted Lasso.
That would be cool if we did, but it would also be copyright infringement.
It would.
Yeah.
Next month, Virtual Cocktail presents
Lead Basso.
It's about a fisherman.
It's Patreon exclusive.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I for Friendman co-wrote, co-directed, and I have a small part in that I act in. Maggie, what did you do?
I produced it, and then I guess like what that means for this one specifically, because it's like different for everything, is like figuring out our shoot dates and then our schedule for the shoot dates, and then organizing the actors once you had found them, and then script supervisor on set. Yeah.
Bit of a first AD kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shared a little bit of that role with
all of the what keeps set running.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah,
basically.
and like that's something that we should talk about, is that we are super small. If you couldn't tell.
There's 4 of us.
There's 4 of us really operating this ship. It's a tricky ship, but we are operating it.
Callback.
Yeah, and so like we do everything. We're not at a point where we can really like get a bunch of people to do each individual task. So like Maggie runs everything, like managering
basically
wise.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, we do stuff to help that as well.
Yeah.
But like that's what Maggie focuses on. So
Mhm.
like we have areas of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we did for Friend Man. Bryce, what did you do with Friend Man?
I acted. I was the director in that.
You played the director.
Yeah, it's a little meta.
Yeah. You didn't.
But what,
You weren't the director.
I played the director. I just got so into the role.
Yeah.
I played the director. It was hard to play a role where I had to hate Sean.
Yeah, you're kind of the antagonist in it.
Yeah.
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 And then I recorded a snippet of it on my phone. I also provided a couple locations.
Yeah.
Um,
And extras.
and a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who made my costume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I made the belt buckle.
But you made the belt buckle, Bryce.
See, I do all the things
Yeah,
that aren't important.
We do everything. And Sean, what did you do for Friend Man?
I'm just gonna say what you said essentially. I think I co-wrote it, I co-directed, and I had a small part in it.
You had a larger part in it.
You were the titular character.
Yeah.
You played Friend Man.
You're Friend Man from Friend Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know Friend Man. Yeah,
You also
guess that's
created
true.
the character.
Mm-hmm.
that is true. Yeah.
And the
Do you want me to
costume.
get into detail on
And
that,
the costume. Yeah,
Yeah.
go into detail. I've been talking too much.
Sure. Well, so you want to talk more? And you
I do not.
Okay. Well, in my memory, how it all went down of how the character was created was Sebastian. I'll call him Sebastian.
Thank you.
It was Christmas, and he was sitting around the Christmas tree after having taken all the presents out and turned them into a castle. And he was turning a drawing into a superhero of his own design.
Some would
I was
say
like,
I
oh,
was
that's-
drawing a superhero, not.
Well, you've got your tricky boat, and maybe I can turn a drawing into your own design.
You're right. Sorry.
We're all influencers
yes,
now.
One might say he was drawing a superhero, and I thought, well, if I was a superhero, I don't think I would have any powers. I'd just kind of go at it with a bit of moxie and friendship, and
You got
that
moxie,
sort of,
kid. You got
got
friendship.
the ball rolling. And I also thought, well, I could never have one of those all leather costumes. It's like you see them make them, and it's like, oh, I don't have that kind of craftsmanship that I could make such an intricate costume. So I was like, let's stick to the colors that you could block them off, and you could use like actual clothing and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
turn it into that. And
You still made an impressive costume.
Yeah.
that's
Arguably more practical
grazie.
than most superhero costumes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
merci beaucoup. But yeah, I basically bought like 2 shirts, 2 pants. This is in the extended cut, I believe, the 1 hour cut of the film.
Yeah, that doesn't
where we
exist.
keep all the improv, right? It's not well paced at all. But
There's just like
basically, I
20
went through
minutes
that.
of people sitting.
Yeah.
I said 20 minutes of people sitting.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, sitting, talking about how they sewed 2 different pieces of clothing together. It was very riveting content, and that's why the extended cut had to exist, but
Yeah.
not even for the Patreon subscribers.
Honestly, I forgot we were improving. I was just happy to learn what your process
Yeah.
was.
Do you remember what
That's
what Christmas that was?
Oh, it would have been 22,
Oh, okay.
right? No,
22?
21.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, which is impressive. Like, not to
Yeah.
toot our own horn
Mm-hmm.
of our tricky boat, but we came up with the idea Christmas 21,
Mm-hmm.
and we had everything done. Like, the edit was done February 23.
Yeah. Which for us is still the longest that our projects have taken. This is the longest thing that we have made. It's just under 24 minutes long.
It's just under 25.
Sorry. And so like that's a long short film.
Yeah, it is.
that we have come to learn is difficult for festivals.
Yeah,
But
and that's something I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Which, like, part of what we wanted with this podcast, like we keep saying, is that we are very open, right? We want to be open with everyone. Typically, short films in festivals range from 5 to 15 minutes. Obviously, you get below that, you get 3. We had The Armor, one of our other short films, in several festivals, and that was 3 minutes.
We made that specifically 3 minutes for the My Road Reel Festival, which
Yeah.
was like you have to have it be 3 minutes maximum,
Yeah.
like to the frame. So if we didn't have that length requirement, I think it probably would have ended up being like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. And the reason why 24 minutes is long for a festival is because there's only so much amount of time that a festival can show shorts.
Yeah.
And so if we have a 24-minute film, that takes up the spot of 6 4-minute films, 4 6-minute films, and so on, right? Like,
yeah.
And so, like, it's possible. It just has to be the toppest of notch quality.
The standards get higher the longer it is.
Yeah.
Which is like something that festivals are very upfront about. It's like there's we've gotten into 2 so far.
We've submitted to many.
And we are waiting to hear back from many more.
Yeah.
But when we started looking into more like genre specific festivals and comedy ones, then that was something that was like in the Film Freeway posting was like, we do accept things under half an hour. That's normally the like length requirement for a lot of short films, but they're very much like, be certain to submit it if it's like to that half-hour mark. Like that's it's also just like it's harder to submit yourself as a comedy, and then like comedy is hard to do for 30 minutes. So that's like we try it. It's funny, there are jokes in it, that's the point of it, but it's also submitting it to stuff is like, it's not like it's laugh out loud the entire time.
It's not a laugh a minute kind of ordeal,
and that's like, we're aware of that. And that's kind of the tone of the movie, is you're gonna experience this guy's day. So I won't name the festival, and I didn't tell you because I just got the email right before we started this podcast. We didn't get in. Like, this is the festival that we didn't get into, that we already knew we didn't get into.
We already knew that we didn't get into.
Okay.
But I emailed the festival because it got to be the notification date of when we were supposed to find out, and we didn't hear anything.
Right.
And it was the day after, and we still didn't hear anything. And so I was looking online, and I found online that they started announcing weeks ago people who got in. And so I emailed the guy, and I was just like, hey, like, I just wanted to like check in. Film Freeway said the notification date was yesterday. We didn't hear back. I saw that you were posting other people who got in. Just want to check in. Should I assume that we didn't get in? And he replied, and all he said was, all of our time slots have filled up. Thanks. Totally not answering my question.
Cool.
Yeah. It was very weird. It was a very weird response.
I get that festivals, like, it's hard to run one.
Yeah.
And it's also like, that makes it difficult to also give feedback. Like, a lot of them also in the application specifically say, if you are not accepted, we are not giving you feedback for why. So like, a lot of the ones that we're getting or not getting into, we're assuming it's because of the length. Like, there are other maybe quality issues that we're aware of. Like, you try and be self-aware when you're submitting to festivals and not take it seriously, but the unknown bit, and then like just getting that response is kind of like, what's.
And I get like a lot of people probably do email trying to fight to get in. I'm never that person. Like, if you don't let us in, like, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna fight that. It sucks. We want to be in.
Friendman is not built for festivals.
No, and we totally know that. This is more of just like, we want people to see it. This is our first outlet of getting it into the world. Once we're done with this, then we'll do a bunch of internet pushing. Like,
we've got other plans for stuff, but we also took the shotgunning approach of festivals, and like, that's why we're waiting to hear back from so many, because we're like, let's just see like which markets we can go to. And like there are ones that we got into with the armor, so then we submitted Friendman to those, and like ones that we like, and we're very heavy in the Midwest, but then we've submitted to a couple, like one is in London, one is in Glasgow. We just want to see what happens, and if they don't like it, then that's fine. But how dare they?
Bryce or Sean, do you have anything more to say about Friendman before we move on? No?
It's not like, I don't know, it's something I just like, that with regards to Bryce's involvement was he was actually there, I believe, filming both the first shot of the show and the last shot that was filmed of the show, because he filmed at the pirate boat, I think, in like March of 2022. And then the last thing that we filmed was the Guy Man stuff, the tripping. Spoilers, maybe. I don't know if it's spoilers.
There's a flashback.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's towards the
flashback.
beginning, Friendman's helping out at a community theater, and at the time I was working at a musical arts center, and they were performing the HMS Pinafore.
The most impressive part, like the most impressive set in this thing, is on screen for maybe 30 seconds.
But it's a great 30 seconds. And I had keys to the place, and Sean was just running around doing his thing, and I was just filming. It was really fun. I had I think 20 or 30-year-old set.
That's impressive. It was a beautiful set.
It's
a tricky boat.
It was a tricky boat,
especially because it was only the rear half.
Mm.
Tricky boat to. I was also picturing our tricky boat to have like a tricky maneuver of, oh, they're coming in starboard with their cannons, drop the anchor, spin it around. Nope, port side.
Yeah, that does sound like a tricky boat.
Could be fun.
Well, we will probably talk about Friendman in every episode for a while, because it won't be publicly released until 2024.
Oh, is it on your thing to talk about awards?
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah. It won an award.
It won an award. So, like we said, we've gotten into 2 festivals, and we won Best Comedy, so clearly people know it's funny.
We got into the Gen Con Film Festival, and then Indie PopCon Film Festival, and we won Best Comedy at Indie PopCon.
So it makes sense that our film about a superhero is doing really well at conventions.
Yeah.
So we're going to submit to more conventions, like Comic-Con. We're going to try to get into that one. But
For the tickets or for the film?
For the film to get in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. The tickets are nice, though.
The tickets are nice. But Sean was the only one of us able to attend that festival, because we were all doing other things. And so he was there. None of us were expecting to win, because they didn't let us know, which is always fun for us. But they got a physical award, and so Sean has that physical award now. So for our video viewers, you can see that award. Hopefully.
Shall I reveal it?
You should reveal it.
Yeah.
Such a big man.
Yeah, that is our.
That's
that
the
is
one.
our award. It's so
Lights up.
Like it is. It's an impressive little thing.
Wait, it lights up?
Yeah.
Sean says the batteries are changeable, so it just lives as long as the lights live.
They are replaceable.
Yeah.
Nice.
For
Just
our audio
gift
listeners,
keeps on giving.
imagine a large gilded man, coated in blue, translucent yet powerful.
Imagine Osmosis Jones.
Really? Honestly?
Yeah.
Osmosis Jones went on the sauce.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
And then a stand that has light emanating from it, and it says PopCon.
Yeah. You can also see a picture of it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah. And if you want to see a teaser trailer for our short, you can check out the Virtual Cocktail channel.
Yeah, we will have a theatrical trailer that we're going to release in the near future.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like we want to promote this, but also because the festival circuit is so long, we don't know when to post things yet, because this is our first time trying to do like marketing, basically. So a theatrical trailer will come out at some point. Another teaser trailer is edited. I feel like that'll come out after the theatrical trailer. And then we've got so many behind the scenes photos, a making of video, blooper reel. All of that will probably be on Patreon at some point. But again, we don't know when yet.
Yep.
We did some genuine, like, grassroots promoting during the filming. When
There was
helping.
a moment when filming where these people needed help finding a location and getting an Uber, and so Sean and one of our other crew members, Daniel, helped them get an Uber.
An older couple.
Yeah, it was and you can see that in our making of video once that comes out. But it was just like a weird, surreal moment where Friendman was doing the thing that Friendman does in the film.
Yeah.
And like his whole story, like the whole point of Friendman is just to help people where he can. And I don't know, it was a really nice moment.
Full costume.
Yeah, he was full costume, just helping out, and like they mentioned like, what are you guys doing? Are you filming something? But then after like that, they were just like really nice and just like totally accepting of Friendman in the costume.
Yeah.
So like it was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from Friendman.
Cool.
We're gonna talk about Friendman a bunch more
for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about upcoming projects for us. This month we're going to be shooting a little short film. It'll be a very short film. It might be more of a music video than a short film. Because there's no dialogue. It's basically we just want to make a bunch of pretty shots.
We haven't
tell a story.
Yeah, we haven't shot anything in Cincinnati since we've moved. So this is kind of like an exercise to do that.
Yeah.
But also like, making some sort of story that goes along with that.
And it's loosely based off of, because like we said, we're in Cincinnati. There's a township nearby called Loveland, and there is a cryptid called the Loveland Frog Person. And it's loosely based off of that. So we're going to be doing that later this month. Hopefully it's out shortly after this video comes out.
It'll be out after that.
Yeah. So that's the next big thing.
Does that script include the wand that the Frogman has?
It does not include a wand.
Canonically, the Loveland Frogman can pick up any stick. It's not just a special stick, any stick, and shoot like energy out of it.
Wow.
Interesting.
According to the lore.
Maybe we need to rewrite the script.
Probably not.
Just an idea.
For those of you who don't know, Bryce is a big fan of cryptids.
Oh yeah.
We have a whole show that Bryce wrote.
Actually,
no?
So there were too many ideas going with that the cryptids I'm saving for a whole nother series, because this series was just, we had to, and I don't want to talk too much about it right now, but we kind of had to narrow it down to just 80s and 90s conspiracies.
Oh,
Okay.
You're talking about the role-playing thing?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the kids show.
Oh, okay.
So you wrote two things.
Too many things.
Yeah.
Mothman and Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kids show that I tried to get made in in college. Life happened, COVID happened, but it pretty much followed Mothman in his house. He's a bit of a shut-in, so we don't see him so much anymore because he got a little too popular a few decades ago. And so he interacts with his friends from his other cryptid friends in other countries through Zoom, or sometimes they come and actually visit if they're in the States, like Bigfoot or the Loveland Frogman. But for his friends like the Sphinx, Baba Yaga, various mermaids, can't really get on a plane and travel over, so zooms in, and Mothman doesn't know what the outside world is like at all. His only context of is through textbooks and stories. Like, he thinks everyone in Egypt live in pyramids, or everyone in Russia fights bears. And through his conversations with his cryptid friends, those stereotypes are peeled away.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids learn a little about what these areas' modern cultures are.
Yeah.
And not their historical cultures.
Yeah. So Bryce likes cryptids.
Yeah.
He wrote a kid show about it.
Which we would like to make at some point.
Yeah, I think we will make at some point.
Don't steal that idea.
I wrote a kid show as well. It's much more basic, just basically learning about animals. But we want to make these kid shows, try to shop those around, get them on some kids programming, like for PBS. So like that is a little insight into the grand scope of how much we are developing that we won't be mentioning because it's so early on.
Yeah. That
we just want to make sure that like there is more to it. These have scripts to them, so like it feels a little bit more like we can talk about it a little bit. Yeah. So for now, like we're just gonna like stick to like mentioning things that we know are happening, like our little Loveland Frog short. Year of the Movie podcast is constantly happening, and then like we mentioned, the TTRPG that Bryce is gonna host and DM. You are writing that right now?
Yes, it's. I just want to get the fine points narrowed down, because I like to write the story, get the characters, rewrite the story. So I'm getting the base down. I want to get it all, because it's all done up here. I need to get it on paper, get it fleshed out, run it through Maggie. Maggie's been a tremendous help through all of this, especially in the beginning because I had too many ideas and it was too much.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, we could start with Mothman and then talk about the aliens and how that connects with the Polybius, and then it'll all culminate in at Skinwalker Ranch and it'll be awesome. And Maggie was like, pick something. Pick one of those genres.
Yeah.
So we're sticking towards the tech conspiracy route. And it seems cohesive. And
nice.
So what we've got so far is pretty cohesive.
And it's the Monster of the Week.
Yes,
rules.
We are using Monster of the Week for our for the system we're using. I'm still getting used to this, and a small part of my brain is fighting me saying, you know how to play D&D, just use D&D rules. But D&D doesn't allow for an egregious amount of shotguns that everyone can have.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, gotta reel it back, gotta
Yeah, so Bryce is hosting, writing, he's gonna be the DM, Maggie is helping produce it. I will be playing. And then
I would like, if possible, if Sean could play in a if we can find out a way to do Discord and project it onto a CRT TV, and Sean could play a guy in the chair type, like that dude in Kim Possible.
Yeah.
If we could somehow figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That something
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Something for us to figure out for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then I think one other
I have the
player.
chair.
You are in a chair.
You're qualified.
Yeah, I'm already in the chair.
Yeah.
We're already halfway there.
So that would be 2 players and then another player.
Yeah. We're kicking it around still. Maybe Kay might be on. Maybe some of our other friends.
Yeah.
And then down the road, there's some really great players that I know who unfortunately recently moved to Vegas, which is a little far.
Yeah.
But I would like to get them in on it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that show's probably gonna have like sort of a revolving cast.
Yeah, we're trying to set it up like the TVs that have Monsters of the Week, Doctor Who, Supernatural, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where it's bite-sized in that we want to keep individual episodes under 30 minutes, and then 3 of those episodes would make up an episode arc. So that would be like you getting 1 episode of a TV show, or those 3 mini episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to do 6 story arcs.
Mm-hmm.
That would be technically individual stories. To be the overall thing. It's confusing to talk about different arcs.
Yeah.
To get the terminology down, but our goal from the start has been make it short, make it entertaining, cut out most of the fluff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of like stuff that we're working on for our brand.
Oh, and make it funny.
And make it funny, yes.
That's
the overarching thing.
That's up there.
We're always doing comedy.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any projects coming up outside of the brand? I know Bryce and I are on a commercial here in town in a week and a half or so.
That'll be fun. It'll be my first rodeo.
Yeah. Commercials they can be stressful, but they pay well. So that's why we do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maggie, do you have anything?
I have a idea I'm potentially working on, and then also trying to figure out like how do grants work, and then there's a maybe story that I have that would be good for a grant that just opened up. Mm-hmm. So that's I don't know if it'll happen, so I don't really want to mention any more about it. Yeah, that would be the big thing. Yeah.
Sean, what are you up to?
Yeah. I'm counting, I'm adding, I'm subtracting, and I might even be dividing and multiplying any day
I didn't
now.
think that you were doing that anymore.
What? Well, I'm teaching algebra.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm back to the numbers.
Back to the numbers.
Numbers exist again.
Wait, were you at a stage of math where numbers didn't exist anymore?
He has been for a while.
Well, they existed, we just didn't deal with them. It's like, this is all technically numbers, but it's like, it's more about the concept.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask any follow-up questions.
I have one just so that you can establish some information for our audience.
Uh-huh.
What was how many pages long was your longest homework that you have done?
You might remember better than me. My gut was 26 pages.
I thought 34.
My second gut was 32, so it could have been 34.
We'll lock in 33.
Again, the numbers, numbers didn't exist for a time, so 20 is the same thing as 30 is the same thing as 50, so it's like.
But that was you. You wrote out 30 notebook pages of homework answers for a homework assignment that you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I did. Oh, I did a lot more of that while we still lived together. Now I do much less. Yeah, actually.
For those who don't know, because I don't think we've actually specifically said it on this episode, Sean is getting his PhD right now in mathematical physics. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so much. Well, I think we should move on to our community response section of our podcast. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna read some comments and questions that we've gotten from our first 2 episodes of Year of the Movie podcast. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 comments from a user named Paul Maj. Mm-hmm. Can't imagine who that is. From our first episode, Dinos, Drivers, and Disasters, Paul Maj commented, 6 + 5 = 11, and in turn, 1 + 1 = 2. So does the title of the movie spoil that this is actually a sequel to 64? Do we have thoughts on that? Do we have thoughts on, is 65 a sequel to 64?
Mm-hmm.
In a movie sense or in just a broad sense?
Yes.
Yeah, Bryce.
Is there a movie called 64?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
I would say
maybe there'll be a prequel.
Numerically?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's our answer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bryce.
Now, I am very far from being a maths guy.
And that's why you're the perfect one to answer.
He answers all the math questions.
Yeah.
I got this.
All right. And from our episode Higher Than Your Average Bear, Pamanj, he's got two little questions. First one being,
Is that legal?
I don't know. I don't know, Newt Gunray. I don't know. Which would pose the greater ecological threat? A bear made of cocaine or cocaine made of bear?
I think a bear made of cocaine, because like that might not live very long because it's gonna get dissolved or whatever.
But it's still
but where does the
cocaine.
cocaine
Yeah,
go?
no, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially with how tainted it is
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah. Sean, do you agree with that?
My concern about a bear made of cocaine is that that's just one large lump sum of cocaine, right?
Mhm.
But if you could make cocaine out of bears, would they not go and like kill all the bears to make cocaine and then throw the whole ecosystem off?
That's true.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, some people like cocaine.
Yeah. I mean, they might start farming bears.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe bears would still be around, just not wild.
If we're in a reality where cocaine is made out of bears, then maybe that's the same reality where cocaine is legal, and then that is the route that they would go to. Of like, let's just farm bears instead of hunting them to extinction.
Well, that would also make it more ethical to produce cocaine.
Yeah.
Is through farming it, and it would be potentially less tainted than it is now.
That's true.
Oh.
So it could be
You
safer.
mean the government would get in on that?
Yeah.
I can't believe we solved drugs today.
By genetically.
making
Yeah.
more.
Suck it, Reagan. And the bonus question for that is, what would happen if the bear from Cocaine Bear was somehow sent 65 million years into the past? Would dinosaurs or Cocaine Bear reign supreme?
Cocaine Bear. And from that movie
From that movie,
specifically,
Cocaine Bear
Cocaine
would
Bear.
win.
Yeah.
Another comment from Higher Than Your Average Bear from user Wednesday's Daydream. The comment reads, "I just need all 2023 movies to be compared to 65. Done. Easy."
That's already baked in.
Yeah. That is the format.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Also, what if it wasn't a bear? What if it landed on a den of snakes? Then you have coked out snakes slithering super fast, attacking what would normally be their predators. Sweet jeebas, imagine if it was set in Australia. Bryce, you're not a fan of snakes.
No. Historically, no.
Would you watch Cocaine Snakes?
No, I would. If I watched it, it would be so deep in my mind that I would convince myself that my house would have cocaine snakes in it and I would not be able to sleep again. I might have to move.
Yeah.
Were I to see that movie.
What if the cocaine snakes got onto a plane?
Cocaine snakes on a plane?
Mm-hmm.
There are too many
My
cocaine
thoughts
snakes on
exactly.
a cocaine plane.
Why did it have to be cocaine snakes?
So many levels.
Yeah.
How'd they get on the... Okay.
How'd they get through TSA?
That's what I'm saying. Like, 1, they're snakes. 2, loaded with cocaine.
You pass them through the like X-ray thing, and you just see a full baggie in there, and you're like, "It's fine."
Honestly, if I was a TSA agent,
I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
gotta go.
I do not want to deal with this. It's almost the end of my shift.
You're already irradiating a snake.
Yeah.
Like,
How much more do you want to have on your conscience?
exactly. You gotta take a step back from that.
Well, that
Hope that answers your question.
hope that answers your question. That brings us to the end of our community response section of this podcast. Please leave more questions and comments. I love this part. I love answering these silly questions and just getting to know our audience and our audience getting to know us. I think it's a lot of fun. So please, more people leave more, and then we have a bigger pool to choose from.
It helps us.
And now this comes to our last section of our show, where I thought it would be fun to do like a little game. A little game, maybe? You guys up for a little game? You guys want to play a little game?
I don't know anymore.
Game?
No,
Game,
I love
game.
games.
Bryce loves games.
You can say it as creepy as you want. I'm down.
Would you like to play a game, Bryce?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
So I have 2 games for us today. I think it would be fun to do like a kind of a revolving pool of games. So I brought two that we can do today just to see like what we like. If we don't like either of them, then we can come up with something else. If we like one, we can do it again. So the first one is it's going to it's going to make us practice our comedy writing chops. I think since we're all comedy people and we all tend to write comedic things, I think that's good for us to do. So the first one is I've pulled together a bunch of news headlines, and I thought we could just make a punchline, basically like Weekend Update or The Daily Show or stuff like that, where we just go through the news and make a joke. So, for example, and I've mentioned this one to two of you already, but the headline is, "A pilot died last week in a gender reveal party stunt gone wrong." My little punchline was, partygoers were quoted saying, "What does red mean?" Because I won't explain it. I won't explain the joke.
But it's funnier.
Okay, so the joke here. So I've pulled quite a few. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 headlines. We don't have to do all of them. I mean, it might, because writing comedy is hard. So, like, maybe I'll read one and no one has anything. So, and, like, that's fine.
We'll edit it out. Make yourselves look awesome.
So, our first headline for us to all attempt a joke is, "A prison in Stillwater, Minnesota remains on lockdown after roughly 100 inmates refuse to get back in their cells." Which I think just alone is a funny concept. Do we have any? Because this is also hard because we're doing this on the fly.
Yeah. The guards have threatened to resort to counting down from 5.
Ooh, I like that one. I like the implications.
With a name like Stillwater, I'm sure they'd want to see if they could make waves. Because they're jumping in and playing in the. I assume that's what prisoners can do, right? They can
play in
just
the pool.
They have a
play in the
pool?
pool.
Yeah, prisons have pools.
This is the same
Like a kiddie
universe.
pool?
the same universe where they farm bears for cocaine.
Yeah.
Prisons have pools. I mean, there are fewer people in prisons if cocaine is legal.
So they have room for pools now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Sean, you got anything? It's so cool if you don't.
I'm still stuck on the name Stillwater.
That's fair. Would you
Yeah.
prefer if it was tap
water.
Your joke is still water? What's the deal?
I'd like to imagine that at least one of these escapees, his name's either Walter or Water, one way or another. The guard's like, "Still water?"
My punchline for this one
So my answer is no.
My punchline for this one was, "Man, everyone is going on strike these days."
Topical.
Prisoner union.
Yeah.
All right, our next headline is, "A dinner plate-sized surgical tool was found in a woman's abdomen 18 months after her last procedure."
I just have follow-up questions.
What surgical tool?
Yeah.
Is the dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, no, this one, like, a part of this game is also just like thinking about the wild things that are happening in the world.
Something America refuses to use the metric system.
Mine was, after searching deeper, they also found a 5-course meal-sized tool.
Did they find like all the scalpels and stuff like arranged? You have your salad scalpel and your fish scalpel.
Your dessert forceps.
Yes.
The surgeon was reached out for an interview, and he said the reason why it was left in was because when he tried to get it out with his tweezers, he kept hitting the sides and buzzing.
Stillwater? Is that your...
Still?
Sure, yeah. It's still water. I guess I guess I got something, a little gem for you.
Okay.
For her next procedure, they're gonna leave a dessert-sized instrument.
Ooh.
As a reward.
Went with a thinker.
All right. Our next headline is 23 people have been injured after a vehicle crashed into a Denny's.
I think just sub-headline, it was a stretch Hummer. Because they're all in the same car.
Oh, it's about
It's a thinker.
about the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Was Denny harmed?
I have no idea. I didn't read the headline or the article.
I've got to make a call.
Can you say it again?
23 people have been injured after a vehicle crashed into a Denny's. I tried to do like a wide variety of headlines where like some have more of a setup and
Yeah.
the other ones.
Well, because I thought that that they were in the vehicle, and I didn't question it until you said the stretch Hummer. But I was like, wait a second, that doesn't.
Why
make
wouldn't
any
they
sense.
all carpool?
I think it is implying the 23 people were in the Denny's.
Well, either way, the clowns popped out and said, "Table for 20 something."
Mine was 23 people have been injured after a vehicle crashed into a Denny's. Police are calling it a grand slammery.
Very good.
Wordplay.
Sorry.
He said wordplay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like still
That's
water.
23 people were injured after a car ran into a Denny's. Only 3 were car related.
I like that. I do like that. Yeah. Next headline. We're good to go to the next headline.
Mm-hmm.
Should I say one?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, you go.
I don't care. We're not gonna top Stillwater. I mean,
You said wordplay, and I thought that was.
no. That was just. I mean, you had some wordplay there with the Grand Slammer.
Yeah. What was yours?
23 people were harmed when a car crashed into a Denny's. Fortunately, the Denny's hadn't opened yet.
That is fortunate.
That is fortunate.
No one was there.
No business was lost.
It's because was it at 5 p.m. when normal people should be
Yes.
at restaurants but aren't at Denny's?
Our next headline is: a dog named Storm ran away from its home and went to SoFi Stadium to watch a Metallica concert.
I don't have a joke to connect this, but I saw a thing that Kristen Chenoweth got married recently, and her husband have a dog named Thunder.
That's related.
That's related.
Yeah.
I didn't realize people were naming weather names for their pets. Seems like an interesting theme for dogs.
The dog ran there because he mistook one of their songs. He thought they were singing Master of Puppies.
That's good. That's good for the music lovers out there. Sean, do you have anything?
A storm's a brewing.
All right. Mine is: a dog named Storm ran away from its home and went to SoFi Stadium to watch a Metallica concert. Storm's owners were relieved when they were reunited until they received a bill from Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Next
You're
headline. we
making
have-
all these up on the spot?
No, I came up with these earlier. I will
You
say.
cheated.
I will say.
Must be nice.
I will say when I came up with them earlier, it was on the spot. But I'm just reading them now.
That's how thoughts
more
work.
prepared. Well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I didn't think about it for
Yeah.
minutes or like an hour.
Yeah.
It was I saw the headline and then I thought of it. So I am saying at the time. You can't ask me if it was on the spot and then be like, earlier it was. Yeah, and then be like, that's a fucking thought. I'll swear, I don't give a shit.
2 for 1.
Three more
That's a
headlines.
freebie.
Three more headlines. I'm gonna read my punchline for this one right away because I don't want you to steal it.
Okay.
So everyone, be silent. A schooner that sank in Lake Michigan in 1881 was found intact recently. Along with it, they found the captain's journal, whose last entry was quoted saying, I hardly knew her."
Next article.
Yeah.
Not gonna top that.
Next article. Next headline. The FBI released online games to teach kids internet safety skills. There's so much in that little sentence that it's like...
One more time?
The FBI released online games to teach kids internet safety skills.
It also includes a chat room where you have to verify your age, and then you can hang out with more teens.
Darwin's theory enters the new age.
Sean, you got anything?
Catfish Academy, the only place where you can learn math and get catfished at the same time.
Nice.
I like it.
I don't know.
No, I like that. Mine wasn't like too far from that. My was just some game titles include 24-hour surveillance, email uploader, and getting away with killing public figures.
Nice.
That's all mine was.
Mm-hmm.
Our last headline, I think you'll have a similar punchline that you did earlier. I don't know. Burger King must face a lawsuit claiming their Whoppers are too small.
Francis acted very erratically at this news. Dusted off the guillotines.
Barely knew her.
Oh, I mean, that wasn't what I was expecting. I thought, no, that's fine. You have barely knew her.
Mm-hmm.
That's your punch. Sean, you got anything?
Something about it being too healthy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you think I was gonna say?
That's the meat of it.
So mine. I'm gonna say mine.
Yeah.
Burger King must face a lawsuit claiming their Whoppers are too small. That should be pretty easy, as we're all familiar with the standard unit of measurement. That is one Whopper.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say that actually.
something metric
unit.
Well, this is common for long lineages of inbred Whoppers. You get some genetic deficiencies.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, that was our first game. Those were all the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just ask. I'll ask us before we get community feedback. What did we think of that? Do we like doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had fun.
Yeah.
Can I write mine down beforehand?
No.
Okay.
No,
No.
that's good. That's good.
I mean, like, obviously, like, doing it on the spot is
Yeah.
super hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like we get fun improv.
No,
and
no.
stuff.
Mhm.
That was a dig at you.
You will just be getting a text later that's like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I have the perfect joke for this headline.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Hey, if anyone out there in the comments has better punchlines
If they can do better than Whopper, I hardly knew her, then let us know.
or still
Let us know.
water. Okay, so our second game is a little bit different.
Mhm.
This is more of a guessing sort of trivia game, not quite. So basically, what I have done is I have combined two movie plots to make one movie, and the movies will connect by a word in the middle. So an example, when President Ulysses S. Grant learns that diabolical inventor Dr. Arliss Lovelace is planning to assassinate him, he orders Civil War hero James West and U.S. Marshal Artemus Gordon to use song and dance in an epic gang war between the Sharks and the Jets. So, if I say that, what would your guess be?
West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
North by Northwest Side Story? No.
Okay, I'll give a clue. This will give it away. James West from the first movie is played by Will Smith.
Oh, Wild Wild West Side
Wild,
Story.
wild.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the answer is Wild Wild West Side Story.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought North by Northwest. That's not...
I have not, shocker, I have not seen Wild Wild West, so you were naming characters and I was like, no recognition on any of these.
But it's, James West,
Yeah.
Desperado, Rough Rider, you don't want not.
I've listened to the song many times, as we all should.
Okay, so I only have 3 of these outside of that example. So obviously 4 total. But
Cool.
not a whole bunch, because making these it's time consuming. This one is a very short one. I also tried making it a little easier since this was our first time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So this next plot is a blind crime-fighting lawyer lands a job at Runway Magazine as an editor for Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Daredevil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil Wears Prada. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Our next.
Do we just shout it out? I raised the buzzer, or do we just? Bah.
I mean, you're all playing together.
Oh, we're on a team. Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Go team.
A young, recently orphaned girl is sent to live on a property with a magic yard feature belonging to her uncle, who has recently returned to New Jersey to attend his mom's funeral and meets a compulsive liar.
One more time.
Yeah, this one was a little tricky to write.
Yeah.
A young, recently orphaned girl is sent to live on a property with a magical yard feature belonging to her uncle, who has recently returned to New Jersey to attend his mom's funeral, and while there, he meets a compulsive liar.
Is Ben Affleck in one of these movies?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nothing?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I can
Annie,
give...
are you Oklahoma?
Annie, are you Oklahoma? I like it, but no.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give a little more. A young, recently orphaned girl is sent to live on a property with a magical yard feature belonging to her uncle, who has recently returned to New Jersey to attend his mom's funeral and meets a compulsive liar who may just be the girl of his dreams. Is that more?
No.
All right, then I'll give way too much. The manic pixie dream girl of his dreams. All right, I'll give more. The manic pixie dream girl of his dreams, played by Natalie Portman.
Oh, I haven't actually watched Garden State.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Secret Garden State.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Secret
That
Garden.
is Ben
and I was
Affleck,
like,
right?
No.
Zach Bratt
Yeah.
is in Garden State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I haven't seen it, but I thought that was Ben Affleck.
Okay, and this one...
I never knew that's what the Secret Garden was about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have Okay, team. We're in a team.
Yeah, you're in a team.
I get too competitive right off the bat.
Okay, this last one is more a freebie, if I'm being honest. I just thought it would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
A local yellow-masked hero is followed by a student documentary crew after he is evacuated from his home planet, crashing on Earth, trying to live a peaceful life until other survivors of his home planet threaten Earth. Also, his mom's name is Martha.
I don't know.
I mean, hello, my name is...
Sean, do you know it?
I'm gonna go with hello, my name is Friend Man of Steel.
Correct.
Ah.
Oh.
Nice.
I've seen the second one.
Neither of those have a sequel. Funny. Yeah, so that's all of the prompts that I had for that game.
Nice.
Do we like that game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out like things to do, and we didn't want it to be like super movie centric because we have a movie podcast. But this one is
we watch a lot of
we
movies.
watch a lot of movies, and this one is a little like more of like a thinker than just like movie centric, and it can also be done with video games or books or songs like Annie, Are You Okay, Oklahoma? Yeah, so like that's just something that we think it's fun to end the podcast on a little fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us to the end of our first episode of Virtual House Sessions. I don't think episodes in the future will... I don't know.
The length will vary.
The length will definitely vary.
Depending on what we're doing that month.
This one was definitely different because we're just like talking about what this show is.
Mm-hmm.
We're pitching the Patreon hard because this episode is free, so everyone is seeing it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a lot of more setup just for what this is.
Yeah.
Future episodes won't have that
Mhm.
because now you know what the show is.
Hopefully.
So yeah, this is a once a month thing.
Mhm.
If you want it more than once a month, we could probably do twice a month. I think that's probably the most that we could do. I don't really think it needs to be more than once a month right now. Who knows, maybe in the future when we have tons of stuff happening, or if you just like us hanging out and talking and like that's what you want to see more of, then maybe we can do that part more. But for now, it's once a month thing. Please leave your likes, leave your comments, subscribe, check out our Patreon. As time goes on, we will obviously have more content.
Yeah.
Your help will help us make more content.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching Virtual House Sessions. I'm Sebastian.
I'm Maggie.
I'm Bryce.
And
I'm Sean.
there you go.
You don't want to smash that like button. You want to bash that like button. You want to
Mash it.
take your phone, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it with your finger. No, that's not what we're about.
No.
I want you to slam it on the hardest surface you're next to.
Yeah.
I want you to do that 3, if not 4 times. We'll know. I want to be specific.
Just keep it an odd number of times.
Exactly. This is our inaugural one. I want to set the record straight of what we expect.
Well, one final thank you for watching Virtual House Sessions. This has been our Tricky Boat. We will see you next month.